The College Dropout, 2004. Kanye's debut wasn't a label fairy tale. It was 4 years of stubborn grind and watch me prove you wrong energy. Back in 99, he was still the producer guy from Chicago, making beats for other people, quietly stacking his own tracks on the side. Def Jam didn't see him as a rapper, so he paid for sessions himself. Half the album was made in glossy LA and New York studios, the other half in a New York apartment that looked like a Craigslist studio listing. It was delayed 3 times, leaked once, and instead of rushing it out, Kanye went back in and rebuilt songs from scratch. New verses, live string sections, and tighter drums, all to make it perfect. Sonically, peak chipmunk soul, sped up R&B samples, gospel choirs, dramatic strings, and drums that hit like Sunday service with subwoofers. The feature list was wild for a debut. Jay-Z, Mos Def, Ludacris, Jamie Foxx, Common, Twista. Through the Wire was recorded literally with his jaw wired shut. All Falls Down flipped Lauryn Hill, and Jesus Walks turned a faith-driven message into a stadium chant. Dropped February 2004, debuted number 2 with 441K first week, 4 times platinum, Grammy for Best Rap Album, Pitchfork 10 out of 10. From day one, Kanye wasn't just entering hip-hop, he was knocking down walls and repainting the place. Late Registration, 2005. If The College Dropout was Kanye kicking in the door, Late Registration was him walking in with a string section, a film composer, and a budget. For his second album, Kanye teamed up with John Bryan, a guy best known for movie scores, not hip-hop. That decision alone told you he wasn't interested in doing a safe part 2 of his debut. The sessions ran from 2004 to 2005 in New York and LA, layering lush strings, harps, horns, and even Chinese bells over Kanye's beats. This was hip-hop with cinematic drama, like a Broadway show, but instead of jazz hands, you've got Gold Digger with Jamie Foxx holding down the hook. Adam Levine, Common, Brandy, Nas, and Jay-Z all showed up, turning the track list into a who's who of mid-2000s music. Gold Digger sat at number 1 for 10 straight weeks. Diamonds from Sierra Leone brought home a Grammy, and critics praised how Kanye blended live instrumentation with complex production. First week, 860K sold, straight to number 1. If Dropout was Kanye proving he could rap, Late Registration was him proving he could outproduce, out-arrange, and outthink almost everyone in the genre. And he still wasn't done leveling up. Next stop, Graduation, 2007. By the time Graduation rolled around, Kanye wasn't just trying to make hits, he was trying to make history. Touring with U2 gave him a light bulb moment. His next album needed to sound massive enough for stadiums, so he traded in the warm, soul-heavy production for sleek synths, house beats, Euro disco vibes, and choruses you could yell from the nosebleeds. The rollout became legendary. September 11th, 2007. Kanye drops Graduation. The same day 50 Cent drops Curtis. Hip-hop turns into a who's gonna sell more showdown. Kanye moves 957K first week. 50 moves 691K. And the win wasn't just a flex. It marked a cultural shift away from gangster rap dominance toward Kanye's more experimental, genre-blending sound. Tracks like Stronger, Good Life, and Flashing Lights weren't just songs, they were event records. And the visuals matched the ambition, with Japanese artist Takashi Murakami designing the surreal, pastel-colored Dropout Bear cover art. Graduation wasn't just the final chapter in his college trilogy. It was Kanye grabbing the aux cord for the whole genre and saying, alright, we're going bigger, brighter, and louder from here on out. 808s and Heartbreak, 2008. If Graduation was Kanye's stadium victory lap, 808s and Heartbreak was him turning off the lights and sitting alone in the empty arena. In the span of a year, he lost his mom, ended his engagement, and suddenly, rap flexes felt irrelevant. Instead of doubling down on bravado, he pivoted to grief, heartbreak, and vulnerability. Delivered through auto-tune melodies over cold, minimal production. Recorded in just 3 weeks between Hawaii and California, the album stripped away the warmth of soul samples for icy synths, moody pianos, and the deep thump of the Roland TR-808 drum machine, which gives the album its name. Tracks like Heartless, Love Lockdown, and Coldest Winter sounded like emotional therapy sessions disguised as pop records. At the time, fans and critics were split. Some missed the old Kanye, others saw it as groundbreaking, but its influence aged like fine wine, becoming the blueprint for the entire emo rap wave. Drake, Future, Juice WRLD, The Weeknd, they all took pages from this playbook. 808s debuted at number 1 with 450k sold, went triple platinum, and proved Kanye wasn't afraid to completely change the rules, even if it meant losing people in the process. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 2010. After the 2009 Taylor Swift VMA incident and the media dragging that followed, Kanye did what any self-aware, controversy magnate genius would do. He disappeared to Hawaii and built an album so over the top, it felt like an apology gift to the entire music world. Studio rules were strict, no phones, no distractions, and everyone had to be dressed like they were meeting the president. He flew in an Avengers-level lineup: Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj, Pusha T, Bon Iver, Rick Ross, Elton John, John Legend, and ran the sessions like a creative boot camp. The result? A maximalist, genre-bending masterpiece that fused hip-hop, progressive rock, soul, and orchestral grandeur. Power was a supervillain theme song. Runaway was a 9-minute toast to his own flaws. Monster became Nicki Minaj's coronation. And All of the Lights stacked features like Infinity Stones. Released November 2010, it debuted at number 1 with 496k first week, won Best Rap Album at the Grammys, and pulled a near-perfect 94 on Metacritic. Critics hailed it as one of the greatest albums of all time. Kanye went from public enemy to cultural hero in one album cycle, and he wasn't slowing down. Watch the Throne, 2011. Fresh off the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy glow, Kanye teamed up with Jay-Z for what was supposed to be a quick EP, and accidentally made one of the most opulent rap albums ever. Watch the Throne was recorded everywhere from Paris to Sydney to Abu Dhabi, because apparently New York or LA wasn't fancy enough. The energy was pure luxury rap, high-end samples, orchestral swells, and bars about black excellence, legacy, and generational wealth. The chemistry between Ye and Hove was instant. Jay brought the seasoned Big Brother gravitas, Kanye brought the unpredictable, creative chaos, and together they flexed on every track. No Church in the Wild opened like a movie trailer. Otis chopped up Otis Redding into a soulful sprint, and N in Paris became the stadium anthem of the 2010s, to the point where they once performed it 12 times in a row at one show. Released August 2011, it debuted number 1 with 436k first week, broke iTunes records, went 5 times platinum, and scooped Grammys for No Church in the Wild and N in Paris. This wasn't just an album, it was 2 rap titans holding court, making sure everyone knew exactly who was sitting on the throne. Cruel Summer, 2012. After flexing global dominance with Jay-Z, Kanye decided it was time for the whole squad to eat. Cruel Summer wasn't a solo Ye project. It was a good music compilation designed to show off the label's roster and honestly, remind everyone just how deep his bench was. The cover art came from Kanye's own design agency, Donda, and the album had a short film premiere at Cannes, because a normal rollout would be too boring. The features list read like a mid-2010s rap festival. Pusha T, Big Sean, Kid Cudi, John Legend, Common, 2 Chainz, and even Jay-Z making appearances. The sound? Stadium-level beats, heavy synths, and unapologetic brag raps. Mercy kicked things off with a hypnotic dancehall sample and one of the most quotable posse cuts of the decade. Click became a flex anthem. Cold and New Godflow brought the lyrical weight, and Don't Like Remix added Chief Keef into the mix. Released September 2012, it debuted at number 2 with 205k first week and went platinum. Critics were split. Some thought it felt more like a playlist than an album, but that didn't matter. Cruel Summer was Ye saying, if you're on my team, you're winning. Yeezus, 2013. If Cruel Summer was glossy label flexing, Yeezus was Kanye flipping the table and daring you to keep up. Gone were the warm soul samples and lush arrangements. In their place, jagged synths, harsh distortion, and beats that sounded like they were built in a factory on fire. Recording sessions happened everywhere from Paris to Malibu. But the big twist came just weeks before release, when Kanye called in Rick Rubin to strip the whole thing down. The goal? Minimalism so raw it bordered on abrasive. The result was an industrial, punk-influenced rap album with zero interest in being radio-friendly. On Sight opens like an alarm going off in your face. Black Skinhead pounds with rock energy and racial defiance. New Slaves flips Hungarian psych rock into a scathing critique of consumerism and racism. And then, out of nowhere, Bound 2 closes the album with a soulful sample that feels like a wink to the old Kanye. Released June 2013. It debuted number 1 with 327k sold, went double platinum, and split critics. Some called it genius, others unlistenable. Either way, Yeezus proved Kanye wasn't here to please anyone. He was here to shock the system. The Life of Pablo, 2016. After the chaos and razor edges of Yeezus, Kanye swung back with something messier, but in a way that felt alive, evolving, and almost unfinished by design. The Life of Pablo wasn't just an album, it was a living project. He kept tweaking it after release, updating mixes, swapping verses, even changing tracks entirely, basically treating it like a software patch for music. The sound was all over the map, and that was the point. Gospel choirs clashed with trap drums. Soulful samples bled into experimental synth work. You had the holy ecstasy of ultralight beam, the Instagram caption energy of Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, the absurd yet iconic I Love Kanye interlude, and the hypnotic bounce of Famous, which reignited the Taylor Swift drama in one bar. The rollout was equally wild. Premiered at Madison Square Garden during a Yeezy fashion show, streamed exclusively on Tidal at first, and then slowly updated like a digital art piece. Debuting at number 1, it became Kanye's 7th consecutive chart-topping album and racked up critical praise for its creativity and ambition, even if it felt like no single version was final. Yay, 2018. By 2018, Kanye was in one of the most turbulent stretches of his life. Public controversies, polarizing political takes, mental health struggles, all of it feeding into Ye, his shortest album ever at just 7 tracks. Recorded mostly in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The sessions felt like a creative retreat, but with an undercurrent of chaos. The album cover, shot on an iPhone on the way to the listening party, scrawled with, "I hate being bipolar, it's awesome." A statement as blunt and contradictory as the music itself. Lyrically, Ye was a mix of vulnerability and provocation. On I Thought About Killing You, Kanye flips between confessional spoken word and booming beats. Yikes tackles mental health and drug use with raw urgency. Ghost Town, featuring Kid Cudi and 070 Shake, became an instant fan favorite, a soaring moment of liberation and pain. Released June 2018 as part of his Good Music Wyoming Session series, it debuted at number 1, giving Kanye his 8th consecutive chart topper. Critics were divided. Some praised its emotional honesty, others thought it felt rushed. But Ye captured exactly where Kanye was at that moment. Unpredictable, unfiltered, and deeply human. Kids See Ghosts, 2018. If Ye was Kanye looking inward, Kids See Ghosts was him and Kid Cudi looking upward, toward healing, redemption, and creativity beyond the chaos. Dropping just 1 week after Ye, it was the second of Kanye's 5 back-to-back Wyoming-produced albums. But the chemistry here felt different. Ye and Cudi had a complicated history, from 808s and Heartbreak collaborations to public fallouts. But this project felt like a reconciliation. The sound was psychedelic and genre blending, mixing rock guitar riffs, Japanese samples, gospel harmonies, and rattling drums into something that felt more like a spiritual trip than a rap album. Reborn became the emotional anchor, a mantra of perseverance. Feel the Love opened with Cudi's primal chants over minimal drums, before Kanye unloaded a rapid-fire vocal burst. Fire carried grunge energy, while Cudi Montage closed the project with a raw, almost prayer-like tone. Released June 2018, the album debuted at number 2, but was critically adored, landing on countless year-end best lists. At just 23 minutes, Kids See Ghosts proved an album didn't need to be long to be impactful. It just needed 2 artists locked in, creating without boundaries. Jesus is King, 2019. After years of blending gospel touches into his music, Kanye went all in. No swearing, no sexual content, no half measures. Jesus is King was a full pivot into Christian hip-hop, marking one of the most dramatic stylistic shifts in his career. It was the sonic counterpart to his Sunday service movement, where he'd been reimagining hip-hop and pop songs as full-on gospel choir performances. Production-wise, it was stripped and pure, but still ambitious. Organs, choirs, horns, and clean drum work. Tracks like Follow God hit with the classic Kanye soul sample bounce. Sella swelled into church choir intensity, and Use This Gospel brought together Clips and Kenny G in one of the most unexpected collaborations in rap history. Released October 2019, it debuted at number 1, making Kanye one of the few artists to top both the Billboard 200 and the Christian Albums chart. It swept the 2021 Grammys for Best Contemporary Christian Album and even won Top Gospel Album at the Billboard Music Awards. Critics were split. Some saw it as a powerful reinvention. Others missed the old edge. But Jesus is King proved Kanye could burn down his old sound and still dominate the charts. Donda, 2021. If Jesus is King was Kanye turning the lights low and focusing on faith, Donda was him going full stadium spectacle. Named after his late mother, the album became less of a traditional release and more of a cultural event, complete with massive listening parties in Atlanta and Chicago that blurred the line between concert, performance art, and live theater. The rollout was chaotic in true Kanye fashion. The album's release date shifted multiple times. Tracks kept changing between events, and guest features seemed to appear and disappear overnight. But when Donda finally dropped in August 2021, it was sprawling, 27 tracks deep, running nearly 2 hours, and touching everything from drill to gospel to experimental soundscapes. Off the Grid brought high-energy verses from Playboi Carti and 5EO Foreign. Hurricane paired The Weeknd's haunting hook with Lil Baby's smooth flow. And Jail reunited Kanye and Jay-Z in a verse that instantly went viral. Production swung between minimal and massive, but always felt cinematic. Debuting at number 1, Donda became Kanye's 10th chart topper, earned multiple Grammy nominations, and proved that even in an era of short albums, he could still make the world stop for a full-length epic. Donda 2, 2022. If Donda was a global event, Donda 2 was Kanye's experiment in total independence. Released exclusively through his $200 stem player device, it bypassed streaming platforms entirely, a bold move that sparked both hype and criticism. The idea was simple. Fans could not only listen to the album, but also remix it themselves by isolating vocals, drums, bass, and samples. Musically, Donda 2 leaned more toward trap, drill, and moody, atmospheric beats. The project felt raw and unpolished, intentionally so, with tracks like Security and Pablo carrying darker, more aggressive tones. Future acted as executive producer, giving the album a heavier southern rap influence. Because it never saw a wide commercial release, Donda 2 didn't chart traditionally, but it sold tens of thousands of stem players and showed Kanye's willingness to challenge the music industry's norms. Some fans loved the exclusivity, others felt left out. Either way, it reinforced his reputation as an innovator willing to take big risks, even if it meant alienating part of his audience. Vultures 1, 2024. By 2024, Kanye was back in full collaborative mode, teaming up with Ty Dolla $ign for Vultures. The album marked a return to more straightforward rap energy while still keeping that Kanye-level ambition in production. Rumbling bass lines, haunting vocal chops, and sharp, punchy drums defined the sound. A mix of stadium anthems and street grit. Guest features spanned rap's newer wave and Kanye's longtime allies, making it feel both current and rooted in his legacy. Lyrically, Vultures balanced bravado with moments of reflection, touching on fame, loyalty, and survival in the industry. The rollout was again unconventional, with live premieres, leaks, and sudden streaming drops, keeping fans guessing until the last minute. While it didn't have the massive cultural weight of Donda, it proved Kanye was still evolving, still unpredictable, and still capable of shaping the conversation around hip-hop. Vultures 2, 2024. Just months after Vultures, Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign doubled down with Vultures 2, keeping the momentum alive. If the first volume felt like a statement of return, the sequel played more like an expansion pack, refining the chemistry between Ye and Ty while pushing into even bolder production choices. Sonically, Vultures 2 blended gritty trap drums with lush, almost cinematic instrumentation. Kanye's fingerprints were all over the arrangements, abrupt beat switches, eerie vocal samples, and layered choirs that made the tracks feel larger than life. Ty's smooth, melodic delivery balanced Kanye's more jagged flows, giving the project a yin-yang dynamic. Features again pulled from both the new school and Kanye's inner circle, making it feel connected to the culture without losing its core identity. Thematically, the album touched on legacy, resilience, and pushing through public controversy, all filtered through Kanye's unpredictable lens. While it didn't aim for the ground spectacle of Donda, Vultures 2 proved Kanye could still draw back-to-back projects that sparked conversation and showcased his ability to reinvent without fully detaching from his roots. It set the stage for whatever boundary-breaking move he plans next. From the College Dropout to Vultures 2, Kanye's career has been one long experiment in pushing boundaries. Every era brought a new sound, a new vision, and a new way to flip the culture on its head. Love him or hate him, his impact on hip-hop is undeniable.